Good morning, everyone. Let's dive into a topic that hits close to home, literally. Family drama. You know what I'm talking about. Those moments when it feels like your relatives have a knack for turning peace into pandemonium. Maybe it's the sibling rivalry that just won't quit, or a parent who critiques every choice you make. Family drama can be exhausting. But today, I want to challenge you to see it in a new light. Here's the first truth bomb. Family drama is rarely about the situation at hand. It's a mirror reflecting deeper struggles, our insecurities, unmet needs, or even unresolved wounds from the past. When Aunt Judy makes that snide comment at dinner, it's not just about the burnt turkey, it's about something deeper. Ask yourself, what is the situation really showing me? That's the first step toward gaining control. Now, let's talk perspective. What if you stopped labeling family drama as a problem and started seeing it as a chance to grow? Because here's the deal. Life isn't about what happens to us. It's about how we respond. Family dynamics are fertile ground for practicing patience, forgiveness, and understanding. And here's the kicker. You can't control other people. Your mom might still bring up that one mistake you made in high school, and your cousin might still stir the pot at family gatherings, but you can control your reaction. You can break the cycle of drama by choosing peace over pettiness. Healthy boundaries are key. They're not walls to keep your family out. They're bridges to better relationships. When you set a boundary, you're not saying, I don't care about you. You're saying, I care about this relationship enough to protect it. Boundaries help you stay true to yourself while respecting others. Here's a game changer, compassion. When you approach family drama with empathy, you're not giving up, you're stepping up. Compassion allows you to see the pain behind the outburst, the fear behind the anger. And when you respond with understanding instead of defensiveness, you diffuse the situation. Finally, every bit of drama holds a lesson. Maybe it's teaching you resilience. Maybe it's pushing you to communicate more effectively. Or maybe it's showing you the importance of self-care. Instead of letting family drama drain you, let it drive you to grow. So the next time drama strikes, don't roll your eyes and brace for impact. Instead, take a deep breath, lean into the moment, and remember this. Every challenge is an opportunity. You have the power to shift the narrative. You can move from frustration to understanding, from conflict to connection, and from chaos to clarity. Because when it comes to family drama, the only way out is through. And the best way through is with a powerful perspective shift. Family drama often feels like it's all about external conflicts, what someone said, did, or didn't do. But if you take a step back, you'll notice that it's rarely just about the surface level issue. It's a reflection, a mirror of what's happening inside each of us. The truth is, family dynamics often bring out parts of ourselves that we don't always want to confront, and that's what makes them so challenging and so powerful. Think about the last argument or tension-filled moment you had with a family member. Maybe it was a disagreement about how things should be done, a comment that hit a nerve, or frustration over someone's choices. Now ask yourself, why did it bother you so much? Was it truly about the situation? Or did it touch on something deeper, perhaps an old wound, a fear of not being respected, or even a sense of not being seen or valued? Family drama has a way of pushing our buttons because those buttons are connected to our most deeply ingrained beliefs about ourselves and our relationships. When you start to see drama as a mirror, everything changes. Instead of getting caught up in the back and forth, you begin to ask deeper questions. Why is this triggering me? What is this situation reflecting about my own fears, expectations, or past experiences? These moments, while uncomfortable, offer us an incredible opportunity for self-awareness. They reveal areas where we might still need to heal or grow, patterns we might need to break, or boundaries we might need to set. This perspective doesn't mean excusing bad behavior or dismissing someone else's role in the conflict. People are responsible for their actions, but when you shift your focus inward, you regain a sense of control. You move from being a passive participant in family drama to an active observer of your own emotional landscape. This is where real transformation begins, because you're no longer reacting from a place of unconscious hurt or habit. Instead, you're responding from a place of intention and self-awareness. The mirror of family drama doesn't just reflect your struggles. It also reflects your strengths. It shows you where you've grown, what you've overcome, and how far you've come. Maybe you handled a difficult conversation better than you would have a few years ago. Maybe you stood firm in your values without being drawn into unnecessary conflict. These moments are worth celebrating because they remind you that even in the chaos of family dynamics, you're growing stronger and more grounded. By seeing family drama as a mirror, you shift your perspective from blame to insight. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I learn from this? This approach doesn't make the drama disappear, but it does transform how you experience it. Instead of feeling powerless, you feel empowered. Instead of feeling stuck, you feel like you're moving forward. In the end, family drama isn't just a challenge. It's an invitation. It's a chance to look deeper, to grow, and to become the person you're meant to be. When you embrace this perspective, you don't just survive family drama, you thrive because of it. Perspective is everything. When it comes to family drama, the way you see the situation can completely change your experience of it. Too often we approach conflicts with a fixed lens, focusing on the frustration, the hurt, or the sense of injustice we feel in the moment. But what if you could step back and look at things differently? What if, instead of labeling family drama as a problem, you could see it as an opportunity for growth, connection, and even transformation? I think you're really going to like this episode, and you're listening for growth. It all starts with recognizing that your perspective shapes your reality. The same event can feel entirely different depending on the story you tell yourself about it. If you see a heated disagreement as evidence that your family will never get along, it's easy to feel defeated and disengaged. But if you view that same disagreement as a moment to learn about yourself and others, it becomes less about the conflict and more about what you can take away from it. This isn't just about optimism. It's about empowerment. When you shift your perspective, you reclaim control over how you experience and respond to the situation. One powerful way to change your perspective is to practice empathy. When you're in the thick of family drama, it's easy to get stuck in your own feelings and frustrations. But what happens when you take a step back and try to understand where the other person is coming from? What fears, insecurities, or past experiences might be driving their behavior? This doesn't mean excusing hurtful actions, but it does mean recognizing that people act out of their own stories. When you shift your perspective to consider those stories, you're less likely to react defensively and more likely to respond with compassion. When the Federal Reserve came up with its first ever 35 basis point rate hike, another key to shifting perspective is to focus on what you can control. Family drama often feels overwhelming because so much of it seems outside your influence, other people's words, actions, or attitudes. But the truth is, the only thing you can control is your response. By focusing on your own thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, you take responsibility for your experience. This shift is incredibly liberating. It moves you from a place of helplessness to one of agency, where you're no longer a victim of circumstance, but an active participant in shaping your relationships. Perspective also allows you to see the bigger picture. Family dynamics are rarely about one isolated incident. They're part of a much larger tapestry of shared history, emotions, and connections. When you zoom out, you can recognize patterns, identify triggers, and understand recurring themes. This broader view helps you approach conflicts with greater clarity and less emotional charge. Instead of reacting impulsively, you can make choices that align with your values and long-term goals. Changing your perspective doesn't mean minimizing the challenges of family drama. It means recognizing that those challenges can be catalysts for growth. Every disagreement, misunderstanding, or moment of tension is an opportunity to practice patience, improve communication, and strengthen your sense of self. When you choose to see family drama through this lens, you don't just survive it, you grow because of it. And that ultimately is the most powerful shift of all. Breaking the cycle of family drama begins with one critical realization: you cannot control other people. No matter how much you wish your relative would stop making passive-aggressive comments or your sibling would take more responsibility, their actions are beyond your control. This can feel frustrating, even disheartening, but it's also incredibly freeing when you understand the power you do have. your ability to choose how you respond. Family drama often thrives on reaction. Someone says something hurtful and you snap back. Someone brings up an old grievance and you defend yourself. This back and forth keeps the drama alive, like oxygen fueling a fire. But what happens when you decide not to react? What happens when, instead of adding to the chaos, you pause and choose a different response? That's where the cycle begins to shift. Breaking the cycle doesn't mean letting people walk all over you. It means stepping outside the automatic patterns of conflict and choosing a response that reflects your values and emotional maturity. The first step is awareness. Recognize the triggers that pull you into the drama. Maybe it's a certain tone of voice, a familiar criticism, or a recurring topic of conflict. These triggers often stem from unresolved emotions or past experiences. When you identify them, you create a moment of choice, a chance to decide how you want to respond, rather than falling into a knee-jerk reaction. This isn't easy, especially in the heat of the moment, but it's a skill that becomes stronger with practice. Next, focus on staying grounded in your own emotional state. Family drama can be like a storm, pulling you into a whirlwind of emotions, but you don't have to get swept away. Techniques like deep breathing, mindfulness, or even taking a brief time out can help you stay centered. When you respond from a place of calm rather than chaos, you not only break the cycle for yourself, but also influence the dynamic of the situation. Your calmness can act as a stabilizing force, encouraging others to de-escalate as well. Another powerful tool for breaking the cycle is setting boundaries. Boundaries are not about controlling others. They're about protecting your own emotional well-being. They communicate what is and isn't acceptable to you and provide clarity in situations that often feel murky. For example, if a family member consistently brings up a sensitive topic, you can calmly but firmly let them know it's not something you're willing to discuss. Boundaries don't just protect you, they also guide others toward more respectful interactions. Breaking the cycle also involves letting go of the need to win the argument or prove your point. Sometimes the best response is to step back, not because you're conceding defeat, but because you recognize that engaging further won't lead to resolution. This doesn't mean avoiding difficult conversations. It means choosing when and how to engage in a way that aligns with your intentions and emotional capacity. Ultimately, breaking the cycle of family drama is about reclaiming your power. It's about recognizing that while you can't control others, you have complete control over how you show up in the situation. When you stop feeding the drama and start responding with intention, boundaries are often misunderstood in the context of family relationships. People sometimes view them as barriers, something that creates distance or shuts people out. But in reality, boundaries are the opposite of that. They are bridges that help us connect with our family in healthier, more respectful ways. By defining what is acceptable and what is not, boundaries create clarity and safety, which are essential for fostering genuine connection. Healthy boundaries start with self-awareness. To set a boundary, you first need to understand what you need and why. Ask yourself, what situations or behaviors consistently leave me feeling drained, hurt, or frustrated? These are often signs that a boundary is needed. For example, if a family member frequently makes comments about your personal choices that leave you feeling judged, you might need to establish a boundary around how those topics are discussed. Recognizing your needs is not selfish. It's an act of self-respect that ultimately benefits your relationships, as well as your mental well-being and your relationships. Once you've identified the boundaries you need, the next step is communicating them clearly and respectfully. This can feel intimidating, especially with family, because there's often a fear of conflict or rejection. However, effective communication is key to ensuring that your boundaries are understood and respected. Start by framing your boundary in a way that emphasizes your feelings and needs, rather than blaming or criticizing the other person. For instance, instead of saying, "You're always so nosy about my life," you could say, "I feel more comfortable when certain topics are kept private, and I'd appreciate if we could avoid discussing them." Setting boundaries also means being consistent in upholding them. If you set a limit but allow it to be crossed repeatedly, the boundary loses its power and purpose. This doesn't mean being rigid or inflexible. There may be times when you choose to make exceptions out of compassion or context. However, maintaining consistency signals to others that your boundaries matter. and that you take them seriously. It also reinforces your own sense of self-worth and integrity. It's important to remember that boundaries are not about controlling others' behavior. They're about protecting your own emotional and mental well-being. You cannot force someone to respect your boundaries, but you can decide how you will respond if they don't. This might mean limiting the time you spend with someone who consistently crosses your boundaries, or disengaging from certain conversations when they veer into uncomfortable territory. These actions are not acts of punishment. They are ways of preserving your peace and ensuring that you remain true to yourself. One of the most surprising aspects of boundaries is how they can enhance relationships. When you set a boundary, you're being honest about your needs and expectations, which creates opportunities for deeper understanding and mutual respect. Boundaries also help prevent resentment, which often builds when we feel that others are taking advantage of us or ignoring our feelings. By setting and maintaining boundaries, you're not just protecting yourself, you're creating a foundation for healthier, more authentic family dynamics. But in the end, boundaries are a way of saying, I value this relationship and I value myself. They allow you to show up in your family with authenticity and strength, fostering connections that are rooted in respect, love, and clarity. Rather than creating distance, boundaries build bridges that allow relationships to thrive in meaningful and sustainable ways. Compassion is one of the most transformative tools you can bring to any situation, especially family drama. When conflicts arise, it's natural to feel defensive, hurt, or even angry. After all, when emotions run high, our first instinct is often to protect ourselves. But what if, instead of building walls, you leaned into compassion? What if instead of reacting to the behavior, you paused to consider the feelings, experiences, or fears that might be driving it? This shift doesn't just change how you experience family drama. It changes the dynamic altogether. Compassion starts with a willingness to understand. Every action, even the ones that seem irrational or hurtful, comes from somewhere. A critical comment might stem from someone's insecurity or fear of losing connection. A defensive outburst might be rooted in past wounds or unmet needs. When you approach these behaviors with curiosity instead of judgment, you begin to see the person behind the conflict. Compassion doesn't mean excusing bad behavior or tolerating disrespect. It means recognizing that the other person is human, just like you, and is likely struggling in ways you might not immediately see. One of the most powerful aspects of compassion is that it helps to break the cycle of escalation. Family drama often feeds on reactivity. One person lashes out, another reacts, and the situation spirals. But when you meet tension with compassion, you disrupt this cycle. Instead of reacting defensively, you can respond with empathy, which often diffuses the situation. For example, if a family member is criticizing you, instead of firing back or shutting down, you might say, I can see that this is really important to you. Can we talk about it in a way that helps me understand where you're coming from? This kind of response shifts the energy from conflict to connection. Compassion also helps you stay grounded in your own values. In the heat of family drama, it's easy to get pulled into patterns of blame, resentment, or defensiveness. But when you choose compassion, you're acting from a place of strength and integrity. You're not letting the situation dictate your behavior. You're deciding who you want to be in that moment. This not only helps you maintain your sense of peace, but also sets a powerful example for others. It's important to note that compassion is not about sacrificing yourself or ignoring your own needs. True compassion includes boundaries. It's about finding a balance between empathy for others and care for yourself. You can acknowledge someone's pain without taking responsibility for it. You can listen to their perspective without agreeing with it. And you can offer kindness without compromising your own well-being. Compassion also has a ripple effect. When you respond to family drama with understanding and empathy, you model a healthier way of engaging. Over time, this can encourage others to approach conflicts with more openness and respect. Even if they don't change immediately or at all, your choice to act with compassion creates a more positive environment for everyone involved. Ultimately, compassion transforms family drama by shifting the focus from conflict to connection. It reminds you that beneath the tension and misunderstandings, there's a shared humanity. And when you approach your family with compassion, you're not just navigating drama, you're building deeper, more meaningful relationships that can withstand life's challenges. Family drama often feels like chaos, unpredictable, overwhelming, and emotionally draining. It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of accusations, misunderstandings, and hurt feelings. But beneath that surface-level chaos lies an opportunity to gain clarity, both about the situation and about yourself. Turning chaos into clarity is about shifting your focus and energy away from the turmoil and toward insight, growth, and resolution. This means turning the turmoil and toward insight, growth, and resolution. It's not about avoiding the drama, but about using it as a catalyst for something better. The first step in transforming chaos into clarity is to step back and observe. When you're in the middle of family drama, emotions often cloud judgment. It's hard to think clearly when you're hurt, angry, or defensive. That's why it's so important to create space, to pause and look at the situation objectively. Ask yourself, what's really happening here? What is the core issue beneath all this tension? Sometimes what appears to be a heated argument about one thing is actually a deeper issue, like a struggle for respect, a longing for connection, or unresolved past pain. Recognizing the root cause allows you to focus your energy on what truly matters, instead of getting lost in surface-level distractions. You get to take a long pause for a moment and really grasp your mission and purpose. Once you've identified the underlying issue, the next step is to focus on what you can learn. Every moment of conflict is a moment of insight waiting to happen. What does this situation reveal about your own triggers, boundaries, or patterns? Are there ways you could communicate more effectively or approach the situation differently? Similarly, what does this drama reveal about the other people involved? What might they be struggling with, and how could understanding that shift your perspective? By asking these questions, you turn the chaos into a mirror for growth and self-awareness. Clarity also comes from being intentional about how you respond. When chaos strikes, it's easy to react impulsively, saying things you don't mean, getting defensive, or withdrawing completely. But these reactions often fuel the drama rather than resolve it. Instead, focus on responding with purpose. Take a moment to consider your values and long-term goals for the relationship. How can your actions reflect those goals? For example, if your goal is to build a stronger connection, you might choose to listen more openly or express your feelings without blaming the other person. By aligning your responses with your intentions, you bring clarity to the interaction and reduce unnecessary conflict. Another key to finding clarity in chaos is setting boundaries and priorities. Not every issue needs to be addressed immediately, and not every battle needs to be fought. Decide what's truly important to you and let go of the rest. Sometimes clarity comes from realizing that certain aspects of the drama simply don't require your energy or involvement. By focusing on what matters most, you free yourself from getting bogged down in petty disputes or unresolved grudges. Finally, turning chaos into clarity means recognizing that family drama, while difficult, is a natural part of human relationships. It's not about achieving perfection, but about navigating challenges with intention and grace. When you approach drama as an opportunity to learn, to grow, and connect, you take control of the narrative. You move from being a passive participant in the chaos to an active creator of clarity. And in that process, you don't just resolve the drama, you emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Good morning, everyone. Today, we're diving into something that touches all of us at one point or another: family drama. Whether it's a tense conversation around the dinner table, a long-standing misunderstanding, or recurring conflicts that seem impossible to resolve, family drama can feel overwhelming. But what if I told you that it's also one of the most valuable opportunities for growth? Yes, you heard that right. Family drama is not just a challenge. It's a chance to shift your perspective, strengthen your relationships, and build emotional resilience. Let's break this down. First, family drama is often a mirror. The situations that irritate or hurt us the most often reflect unresolved issues within ourselves. Maybe you get frustrated when a family member doesn't listen to you. Ask yourself, why does that bother me so much? Is it about them, or is it touching on a deeper fear of not being valued? These moments are like emotional mirrors, revealing what we need to heal or understand about ourselves. So instead of just reacting, pause. Ask what this moment is teaching you. Second, your perspective is everything. The way you interpret family drama shapes your experience of it. If you see a conflict as proof that your family will never get along, you'll feel discouraged and stuck. But if you see it as an opportunity to learn and grow, everything changes. Shifting your perspective isn't just about being positive, it's about empowerment. You take control of how you experience the situation by choosing to focus on what you can learn instead of what you can't change. Now let's talk about breaking the cycle. Drama thrives on reaction. Someone says something hurtful and we react. That reaction triggers another and the cycle continues. The key to breaking it is to pause. Don't feed the fire. Choose a response that reflects your values and intentions instead of letting the situation dictate your behavior. This simple shift, pausing instead of reacting, can completely transform how conflicts unfold. Another critical skill is setting boundaries. Boundaries aren't about creating distance or shutting people out. They're about creating clarity and mutual respect. When you define what's acceptable and communicate it clearly, you're protecting your peace while also guiding healthier interactions. Remember, boundaries are about what you will tolerate, not about controlling others. They're an act of self-respect that benefits everyone involved. Compassion is another game changer. It's easy to see family drama as a battle, but what if you looked at it as an opportunity to understand? What fears or insecurities might be driving someone's behavior? Compassion doesn't mean excusing bad actions. It means acknowledging someone's humanity and choosing to respond with empathy rather than judgment. Finally, clarity is your anchor in chaos. When family drama feels overwhelming, step back. Look at the bigger picture. What's really happening here? What matters most? By focusing on the root causes and your long-term goals for the relationship, you can make intentional choices instead of getting lost in the noise. Family drama isn't easy, but it's also not insurmountable. With the right perspective, you can transform it from a source of stress into a source of strength. So the next time you find yourself in the midst of family tension, remember this. It's not just happening to you, it's happening for you. Take a breath, look inward, and approach it as the powerful opportunity it truly is. Thank you.